Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Tarot Time. Happy Tuesday. Let's talk about, because I mentioned a little bit about dating yesterday. Let's talk about dating with clarity and not desperation. How's that sound? Don't hate me, but it's true. We all meet a guy, and how are we choosing? I always talk about my view. Where's my view coming from? Am I lonely? Is that why I'm going on dating apps? Is that why I'm dating? Are we hungry? Is that why we're going to the grocery store? So if you meet a guy and you see red flags, do you just let some of those red flags go? Because I mean, after all, you don't want to be too picky. You really don't want to be too picky, right? Yeah, you do. I had someone say that to me once. Um, this man who was well married, and he says, I just think you're too picky. Pretty rich coming from someone who's been married for 25 years and cheats every chance he gets. So it's okay to be picky. It's okay to be choosy. What happens is we don't want to date out of desperation. So a lot of girls I know get to a certain age and it's that magic number and they start doing an inventory of their lives. They're like, I have this, I have that. This is the only part that's missing. And they kind of harp on it and they say to themselves, I met this guy. I like this guy. He's single. He's breathing. I mean, are those really the good reasons for somebody? So I think a lot of you have, because I've read for a lot of you too. I think a lot of you have the knowledge to pick wisely and choose wisely, but sometimes you let your emotions get in the way of it and you start choosing because you just don't want to be alone. You know, it's like taboo, a little bit taboo to be alone, where I think it's very freeing to be alone because then you get to a point where you're like, nope, don't want this one. Nope, this one has nothing for me. And not saying that people are bad or anything. It's just saying people are not a match. It's just knowing who's not a match for you. Every train wreck I picked, I kind of subconsciously knew they were a train wreck, but I picked them anyway. Not for the right reasons. I picked them for all the wrong reasons. I always tell the story how I always felt a woman needed to be escorted someplace. You always needed to have a date. That's how I was raised, till my mom got a lot older. And she used to say to me, what do you need a man for? Get yourself a good handyman. No true words are spoken. But no, truth is, why are you picking a mate? Why are you picking somebody? Don't do it out of desperation. Don't do it out of loneliness. Don't do it because culture says you have to. Culture tells us we have to do a lot of things. And I'm a little bit of a rebel, so. All right, so that's our dating little chit chat for today. It is so cold, so damp in my neck of the woods that I can't. I'm just waiting for like one of those really warm days. And then I'll just complain about that. Have you been enjoying my weekly astrological predictions? They are so amazing. Some of the questions I have come up with are pretty good. I think you're going to enjoy ones moving forward too. I'm getting a little bit deeper into the psyche of all you girls and guys. So using my Robin Wood deck, let's see what we have. We have Page of Wands, positive news, a positive email, a positive text, something you've been waiting for, something you have been looking for. Don't forget, wands are all about our fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. When we see the Page of Wands, we know something really great is about to happen. And he's got fireworks on his little thing right there. See right there? So I tend to think with the fireworks, either something started around July 4th or this email or text is going to be explosive, like good explosive. And I also feel because of all the warmth, this person comes from a warm climate. Or you could be living in a warm climate. If you are, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. Connecticut will eventually have its day. It'll probably only be for a week, but we'll have our day. So you have a message coming your way, something that you can really hold on to. See how he's holding on to that wand with both hands? That tells us it's something meat and potatoes. It could be something with a job too. And somebody, the job comes in and says, we hired someone else. It didn't work out. Are you still interested in the position? It could be something from HR saying that, there's something, because I know a lot of companies have to post within for jobs before anything else. But you have a message that's definitely coming in that's going to have a little bit of a kick to it, okay? The devil card says, don't get too caught up in it though. Let the person do the work, okay? They're starting off as a page, but it's a page of wands, so it's a little bit more, got a little more oomph to it than a normal page. Let the person do the work. We are so, I like to shake all of this. I was like this 2 years ago, so I can't yell at y'all. Women tend to want to do all the hard work for the guys. I always say, I have that saying, I always say, the lion gets confused when the gazelle does the chasing. We're so afraid of losing an opportunity or losing someone or whatever that we're willing to take on the role. Okay, we're willing to take on the role. And sometimes that's with a lot of things, not just love. Could be friendship too. Like, are you always the friend who plans everything? Do you ever say to yourself, well, if I don't reach out, will I ever hear from that person? I have a friend who we discuss a third friend, and she's always like, I haven't heard from her in weeks, and she doesn't text me and she doesn't call me. I go, but yet you keep calling her. I'm like, I always say, don't call, see what happens. It takes two to make a relationship. I've done that with a lot of people. I stopped reaching out, and eventually I haven't heard from them. I have a hard situation on my end because I realized I had a lot of people who I thought were my friends. They were my friends for what they could get out of me. And usually it was, they wanted free readings or insight or whatever, unfortunately. But people are all like, there's people like that. Not everybody's like that. But you have to be careful because there's something tied to this message, okay? And you just have to be mindful with it because I think this person could have disappointed you at one time. And there might be an opportunity for them to do it again. That's why, like I say, let somebody show you their value. Let them show you how serious they are. Let them be the one who takes the lead. You don't always have to take the lead. Capiche? It's okay. And if you're like, well, what if it goes away? Then it goes away. If it's meant to stay, it will stay. Know your value. Know your worth. I keep getting this card, whether I read for people or just in general. I'm always getting the 9 of Cups. So somebody's getting their wish. There is a wish that's coming through for a lot of you who's watching this channel, and I believe it's a message. But the 9 of Cups is a wish. Be careful what you wish for. There's still some work to do, but it's a wish nonetheless, okay? And don't forget, when we get 9s, it tells us that we're right there next to the 10s, and we're just about there to finish a path and move on to something else. All right, so listen, if you get that text from some guy or whatever, just do not flip it. Okay? Do not run after them, do not chase. We don't chase. Okay? Let the guy chase. Men are natural hunters anyway. They like that. And if they don't, guess what? Then they took care of themselves. Many men out there. Men are like buses, women. There'll be another one in 10 minutes. All right, everyone. This is Coffee and Tarot time. I am the Queen of Wands. Everyone, have a great day.